Gotta get me some of that blindfolded Yoshi hype.
Nintendo.
Thank you very much, Adam Ski, for the $10 donation. Donating for my sister, who died of leukemia just over 3 years ago, and her son, who is still a bit young for games, but nonetheless loves pink Yoshis. So this one goes towards the Yoshi's Island Blindfolded Challenge. All right, good show to all our donators. I'm proud of all of you. We've reached the incentive for the blindfolded Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Yes! So that is happening. Come on, major shout outs to our donators. Over $20,000, people.
Hopefully you'll be able to hear me.
I can hear you fine,
Okay,
yeah.
cool, we're good. All right.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Wait. Oh.
Okay, we're good.
All right, we're good.
All right, so this is Animal Crossing for the GameCube. We're going to be doing the All Debts category. First of all, we want to go ahead and thank everybody for donating. This was going to be a bonus game. We were kind of nervous it wasn't going to make it in, but yeah, donations opened last night and it was met in 3.5 hours, so that's pretty awesome. So thanks everybody for that.
Yes, thank you.
So you're probably wondering, like, how do you speedrun Animal Crossing? Because it's a pretty open world, open-ended game. For a long time, we were kind of trying to figure out categories because me and a few other people, Adrian and Fash, were trying to figure out some kind of run we could do. And Fash came up with the idea to just try and pay off all the debts as fast as possible because that's sort of like the main goal of the game. And so he ended up putting together a route in like October 2013. He did a run which was around an hour and a half, and we've just been optimizing it since then. So during this opening cutscene, he's just going to go ahead and name himself, pick his gender, all that kind of stuff. We have it set to a specific date and time, just because there's some in-game events that need to happen at specific times. So anyways, yeah, since October 2013, we've had a few people pick it up, a lot of optimization. We got it down from an hour and a half to about 38 minutes is the record now. It's a pretty small community, but we're happy to be here.
So basically the way this run works is you do a duplication glitch over and over to pay off all your debts. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the way the glitch works is pretty ridiculous. I'm going to have to explain the whole thing in a couple seconds, so we'll see how that goes. But the beginning of the game is just going to be a bit of text first. It's got kind of a slow start, but then right after that, he's going to have to check his map and then memorize the whole map immediately and go out and meet every villager. So if you've never played the game before, basically you're a human that moves into a town full of animals, and you don't really have a place to live, so Tom Nook gives you a house, and then throughout the game you can kind of upgrade it and slowly pay it off with money. You kind of, you'll like fish and catch bugs and all that kind of stuff. It usually takes the average player, I'd say, probably about a month to get enough money to pay off the whole thing. It's around 1.4 million bells, which are the currency of the game. We're going to do it in around 45 minutes.
So here the house you pick, it doesn't really matter, but we picked this one because the wallpaper is really important for the duplication glitch that we do later.
Yeah, there's a visual cue involving the wallpaper in that house.
And as you can see, text smashing is a pretty important part of the run.
Yeah, it's A and B alternatively. So I guess I can take this time to kind of talk about some version differences between. There's like 4 versions of this game. It was originally an N64 game that only came out in Japan, called Debetsu no Mori, and then they ported it to the GameCube. Didn't really change a whole lot. Called it Debetsu no Mori Plus, and Then when Nintendo of America picked it up and started localizing it, they kind of added a lot of features and a ton of new items and stuff because a lot of the stuff wouldn't translate very well. So that's what we have here, which is Animal Crossing for the GameCube. And then Nintendo of America ended up liking it so much that they brought it back to Japan with E+, which added an extra debt and a couple other neat little things. All right, so right here you're going to see Force Red's going to come up and look at the map. This will be the only chance he'll get to look at it, so he's really got to memorize it because he'll have to go out and meet all of these villagers, as well as stop by the fountain. This is sort of what makes this game such a fun speedrun. The beginning, especially, is that it's a lot of on the fly. Like, you never know what your town's going to look like. So for a marathon run, especially when you're not resetting, because a lot of times you'll reset to get an optimal layout. But when you're not resetting, you have to memorize the map really quickly, and it's going to be different every single time. So you're going to have to go out and hope that you have it right. So yeah, Tom Nook basically says that he's going to help you out. He'll give you a part-time job to work for him, and he'll give you money towards paying off your house because you don't really have anything at the beginning. And the first thing he asks you to do is to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone in town, but you can actually do that before you even talk to Tom Nook at all, and he offers you the job just because if you already have all the flags of the villagers already cleared, then he won't even ask you to do it, so that'll save you a decent amount of time. The way the flags work in this game are actually really interesting. In that you can kind of clear some of them early, and then it'll save you some dialogue later. Limber's voice is pretty good. One nice thing about this is if you're not sure exactly where a villager is, when you first enter an acre, you'll hear them come out of their house and you can hear the door open. And even if you have like a 5.1 stereo, if you have like headphones on or a 5.1 stereo surround system, you can like hear exactly where they are in the acre. So that can really help you out. I think there's 6 villagers and you have to introduce yourself to the mayor of the town as well.
Alright, so this is the last villager, so we're gonna go start chores now. This is pretty much everyone's least favorite part of the game, casually.
In the speedrun though, I think it's pretty easily my favorite part.
This one should be like right above us.
So one thing that's actually really important for an optimal run of this game is you want to have the store and the post office really close to your house, and those are like randomly generated. They all have to be like in the top row, but they could be anywhere. So a lot of times you'll reset if they're not up there. But obviously for Marathon that's not going to happen, so you sort of have to just deal with what's given to you. All right, so this is the second chore technically, but the first one that he is assigned to Force Ride, which will be planting all these flowers. And they can be kind of a pain because they can only go in certain places because the whole game is sort of based on squares and like where things can go. So sort of have to run around in between frames while you're pausing in order to get everything out. Nice, that was good. The chores are all in order, so you know basically what you're going to be doing. Like it's always like plant flowers and you get furniture, then you have to mail something, etc. But you never know where you're going to be going. So you kind of have to learn everybody's name at the beginning. So because Nook just tells you like where they are and what their name is, but you know you have to remember like okay, like put that together in your head where they are on the map. And since it's different every time, it can be pretty hard.
So here, the first villager you deliver to, he gives you a random item. So later in the run, when we do the duplication glitch, we need a 2x1 table, and it's actually possible to get one from here, but it's obviously a pretty rare chance.
Yeah, there's like, I don't even know how many items are in this game. Probably like 900 or something like that.
Too many.
What's that?
Too many.
Yeah, way too many. So the odds of you getting a 2x1 table are super low, but if you did, that'd be a huge time saver. That was actually one of the biggest problems in the run for a long time, is that if you didn't get a table from either that villager, or if there wasn't one in the store, you'd have to reset, but we, as a community, sort of found ways around it.
So here we finally get the map. You can't look at it from the start.
Yeah,
It can be a real pain.
that's sort of the biggest problem at the beginning. That's why you have to memorize, because you don't get the map until just now. So now you can press X at any time and open it if he gets lost. Nook's going to have him go write a letter for a random villager, and then later on, one of the chores will be to deliver to that same villager.
So we can just leave the letter blank.
And he only tells you twice, so if you're not paying attention, you're kind of screwed because you have no idea who to write it to. But yeah, I know a lot of people actually wrote an advertisement like he asked you to do, but you can just leave the letter blank. It doesn't make a difference. All right. So next up, this is sort of an interesting thing I discovered by accident one day. Nook doesn't have anything for you to do, so he tells you to go talk to a villager and get a chore from them. And so a lot of this game, you can talk to your villager friends and ask them for stuff to do, and they'll like, oh, I lost my Game Boy. It's over at whoever's house. Can you go get it back for me? And so we do a lot of races of just the beginning of this game, just because it's sort of like the more adaptive part and the more I guess race-friendly part of the game. But if you ask someone to do something, and then if you say no, as long as you have asked them to do something and like gotten that flag through, then you're done, and you can just go straight back to Nook, and he'll be like, oh, thanks for helping out that person. That's awesome. Congratulations. And you can even talk to someone who has nothing for you. They'll be like, oh, I don't have anything for you to do right now. And just because you asked them, he'll still just totally count it. All right, so Force Red's going to be delivering a carpet to Kitty. Now's probably as good a time as ever for me to do this real quick. So there's sort of a funny thing you can do in this game. Since it's an N64 port, the whole game is ROM size, so it's like, I don't know, like 56 megabytes or something like that. And the Wii and GameCube have more than enough RAM for that, so you can do something kind of funny I'll do real quick.
Just be careful.
All right. So I hold in my hand the very Animal Crossing disc that we use to boot this game. It's completely loaded in the Wii's memory. You don't need the disc for the whole rest of the run. There's proof.
You may want to consider just putting that in the box.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll hold on to it. All right, so now he asks him to deliver an axe, which you can kind of prepare for because it always goes to whoever you wrote the letter for. So usually you have a pretty good idea where you're going. Oh yeah, she shows off the blank letter that you mailed her and praises you for it. Something that's sort of interesting about this game is that this run that we're doing pretty much works best actually on the English GameCube version because a lot of other versions of it are sort of lacking features that we need to use because since this is like one of the later iterations of it. And another major reason is that the duplication event, does it work in
Yeah,
N64?
the duplication glitch works, but the problem is the codes that you use to get items from Nook aren't in it,
Right.
which you're gonna see. Really
Yeah, so there
shortly.
he asked him to write a bulletin board entry, and you can leave that blank as well.
All right, so now we're done with chores.
Right. Those are pretty good chores. It's honestly one of the more difficult parts of the run just because everything is so random and you sort of have to adjust every single time on the fly, so.
Yeah, this is pretty much where you save most of your time in the run.
All right, so after this, the game is gonna get, gonna start breaking it a little bit. So since we're playing on, I'm not actually sure what's the fall date for the
It's
sports.
September 22nd, 2016.
Okay.
So this is probably the best part of the run, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But before that, we're gonna. So in order to get a table, you can use these. They're called global codes that were given out by Nintendo to get certain items, and they're sort of weird because they're like Nintendo things, but they're sort of jumbled up. And so the one that we like to use the most is a link to the past, and then it's gonna be #LinkGoThePast. Oh yeah, it's sort of jumbled up there too.
All right, so now we have to go get an auto medal from Tortimer at the Wishing
Right.
Well.
So now, yeah, since it's the date of the sports fair, in this game, the mayor of the town will give you certain event items based on like what day of the year it is. Like on Christmas, you know, you can do some Christmas-related stuff. On Halloween, you can do that kind of stuff. Thanksgiving, all that. And this is the sports fair, so he's going to go ahead and give you a spring medal, which is it meets the very specific requirements of the duplication. You can place it on a table. And it's a one-by-one item, and it also is worth a ton of money. It's worth 14,000 bells each, so that's the item that we'll be duplicating for the run.
How many bells each was that again?
What's that?
You said 14,000 bells?
Yes, it's worth 14,000.
Huh, what a coincidence. The Yeti just donated $14,000.
All right. Okay, so we're going to start setting up for the item duplication. This is going to be a lot of stuff to say, but basically this is a setup that Stockfolder found actually one day when we spent a lot of time trying to get this trick down, and we never could really do it.
That's a bit too late.
But I asked him, and he basically said he'd help out. So basically he's going to grab this.
All right, that's perfect.
Nice. He's going to grab this shirt and then run up and pause on the right frame to let the table, he's like stuck between spaces, so the table pushes him up forward and then to the right, up on top of the shirt. And then he can fall down onto the table that's down there. And then after that, he's going to put the spring medal down and pick the table up. And so the spring medal actually takes the properties of the table. And then after that, you can throw something that you can interact with on top of that spring medal table, and it gets corrupted. When you leave your house, they switch around, and then the item on top of the tape deck will be duplicated every single time you enter your house for the rest of the game.
So we just get 2 there.
Yeah.
That's all we need to pay off the first debt.
So that glitch was actually found by MP16, Brian MP16, one of the original runners of this game a long time ago. I think he found it in like 2008, 2009. But it was incredibly difficult for a long time because it's frame perfect, and then there's just all this ridiculous stuff you have to do afterwards. And there was no consistent setup for it. We used to just run up and down and keep pausing and hope that you'd get it. One time I tried for 6 hours and I got it twice. And so I basically just was looking for help in the community, and Stockfolder ended up volunteering to try and find a setup for it. And yeah, so then we ended up getting it down. We still were using this weird setup that used 2 tables, and it was way slower. And then this guy hiding in yellow was just watching my stream one day, and he was like, "Couldn't you like do this different setup?" And so we tried it, made a video, and it ended up saving a ton of time. So yeah, this game has definitely gotten a lot of help from the community, so we're happy about that.
So going back to Brian MP16, he's basically the god of Animal Crossing
Yeah.
speedrunning. He created a bunch of other categories, such as Golden Rod, which is catching all the fish in the game, or Golden Net, which is catching all the bugs.
Yeah, he was running this game way before any of us even thought to pick it up. Just sort of doing his own thing. He loves to do goldenrod and golden net, which are like 2.5-hour runs where you just have to try and catch every single fish or every single bug.
Yeah, they're even more RNG dependent than this.
Yeah, he also made a bingo website you can go to where it'll give you a 5x5 card of different objectives, and then you can race somebody to try and like complete a bingo, which we've done a few times. They take a really long time though, like somewhere between 2 and 5 hours.
All right, so we have to order 2 tape decks here to, I guess, improve the duplication setup so we can do 3 at a time instead of 1.
Right.
Oh, whoops.
All right, so those will show up the next day in the mail, so we can go ahead and grab those. But first, he's gonna go ahead and run up and. Oh, you already paid off the debt. Just kidding. All right.
So I'm gonna grab an extra autumn medal.
Right.
For time travel.
He's gonna grab one more medal real quick before he saves and quits.
I'll go ahead and read off that donation from the Yeti then. Hey all, Yeti here. We've been having so much fun watching all the runs. The hype is real. Here's another 14,000 to add to our total of 28,000 raised from shirt sales. A massive shout out to our web Jedi Ryan. He fixed our server crashes. If you see him at AGDQ, give him a high five. Can we please donate as follows? $404 to save the animals because they are our friends, $403 to kill the animals because they are delicious, and $13,193 to see all dungeons blindfolded.
So Nintendo put in this feature because this game is so time dependent and date dependent where you can actually change the time. I'm sure a lot of you, when you play this game casually, probably were jumping around all over the place. So we're going to go forward 1 month here so that we can, our house will be upgraded and we'll get all our stuff in the mail. And a month is just faster than, you know, trying to go forward 3 or 4 days or whatever, just because you can just hit up and start. So now we're going to go ahead and load the town again. There are some weird things where, like, playing on emulator, these save and load times are instant, and if you have certain memory cards and certain like GameCube or Wii setups, you'll have like faster and slower load times. So he's gonna go ahead and grab the 2 letters from Tom Nook that contain the 2 extra tape decks, and then he's gonna do probably the only glitch I've contributed to this game called Blast Off, where he's gonna push off on the tape deck, and then he's gonna go up and stand on top of the spring metal table that's up there, and he'll do it one more time. But yeah, there's this pretty funny video of me discovering it the first time. I like couldn't find my character for a good 5 minutes. I was like looking all over the place. So yeah, again, he's going to get off the table and it's going to glitch out the spring metal into taking the table's properties. And then once you pick up the table, because you're not supposed to be able to walk on a table, so that once you pick up the table that you're standing on, then it leaves the item floating. And then once you put the tape deck on top, it like corrupts in this really weird way. We're not really 100% sure how it all works right now, but yeah, once you leave and come back in, they'll swap places. And he's just gonna drop this stuff so he has more room for items to pick up. And then yeah, now he's just got 3 of these things. They're all worth 14,000 bells. So he's just gonna go ahead and basically just ride this money train to the end of the run.
Thank you very much, Nicholas Benzie, for the $78.70 donation. 10 cents for every hour I spent playing New Leaf. Animal Crossing for life.
Speaking of the other Animal Crossing games, I've actually routed all debts for Animal Crossing Wild World and City Folk. They're not as interesting as this, but throwing that out there.
Yeah, they don't have, you know, any of these glitches. Mostly because they're running on like newer systems, so they don't. They're not quite as buggy. There's a couple glitches you can do using Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, but I don't really know how valid those kind of runs would be.
Wild World actually has a similar duplication glitch.
Oh, yeah.
And you can actually duplicate money bags, so it's a lot faster.
Interesting. But yeah, a lot of people are looking to do runs of, say, newer games like New Leaf and City Folk, but they're, yeah, considerably longer.
New Leaf has a duplication glitch. It's really easy to do, but it only works in the Japanese version.
Thank you very much, Shasta, for the $967 donation. Donating my current follower count on Twitch like I promised I would. This event has been amazing so far, both on stream and off, and I've had a really awesome time the entire time. Put my donation for file name WhooperZ as Pokemon Red Blue trainer name because I'm honestly surprised that's actually losing. Good luck to every runner here. You can do it, Speed Friends.
Alright, so we gotta go back in so he actually does the house upgrade text.
Yeah, sort of a pretty big sort of thing you can screw up here is when you first walk in, it's like the second day of the game, so he's like, or that you've played. So he asks if you want to join the Happy Room Academy. And so the flag for him asking how much you like your house and whether you want to like upgrade it again doesn't actually go off. So you can just run off and totally forget about it, but you have to come back in a second time and tell him that you want to expand. And so now we're slapped with the second debt, but as you just saw, he sold 15 auto medals and ended up getting 210,000 bells. And I think the final total for bells you need for the game is 1.41 million. So there's about a week's worth of Animal Crossing done in 5 minutes.
With the Super Mario World 2 blindfolded donation incentive met, the next upcoming donation is a bid war between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Currently, let me refresh real quick. Currently, Arkham Asylum is in the lead at $2,417.76, followed by Arkham City at $2,254.50. From what I'm told, Arkham City is the new hotness that all the kids in town are talking about, so I'd recommend voting for that one.
All right, so right there is a pretty important text box. Basically, you have a choice when you first pay off your debt. He asks if you want to expand your house and get more floor space, or if you want to get a basement. And the basement is way faster for duplication because you can run up and down the stairs and you don't have to go outside anymore. So, but they're worth different amounts. So if you say the top one, the whole route changes because you are then paying off different amounts at different times. Yeah, there's a lot of menu optimization in this game. We had to go through and time each individual dialogue option to see what was fastest for every conversation. All right, so now we're going to go forward another month.
Thank you very much, Elaine, for the $30 donation. Blindfold hype. So many people are watching here at the Twitch office. Congratulations to our own Rom Scout for a magnificent run from everyone here. Thank you very much, Armchair Titan, for the $20 donation. Get those blindfolds on, chaps. Also, shouts to the FGC donation combo, hype. This donator is most likely referring to the fact that Ski Sonic and Flo donated in pretty quick succession. So shoutouts to everyone in the fighting game community that has supported this event, and everyone from all different types of video game communities that have been supporting this event.
Alright, so now that we have the basement, instead of having to go outside every single time, you can save like, I don't even know, probably 2 seconds every transition by just running up and down.
It's very important that you don't pick up a tape deck after taking the spring metal off. Otherwise, you'll have to do the blast off glitch again, and that wastes a lot of time.
Yeah, just because if you pick up the tape deck, it sort of becomes uncorrupted and just enters your inventory as a regular tape deck, so you have to do all that stuff all over again.
Thank you very much, Foxy Keep, for the $100 donation. Let's see this glitched run in Dark Souls 2. Praise the sun.
Oh, look at that. Nook store upgrades are actually based on buying and selling in this game, so since, we just unloaded 210,000 bells on the Nook the last day, he went ahead and upgraded his shop.
So surprisingly, the basement is actually the cheapest debt in this game, whereas every other game it's the most expensive.
One nice thing about this game is instead of having to manually select each thing to sell, you can just select one and he'll say, oh, you have 15 of those, you want to sell all of them? And you'll be like, heck yeah, I do, give me 210,000 bells.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the $50 donation. Waking up every morning to more speedruns is the best I can ask for. Let's beat cancer and let's make Yoshi blindfolded.
There's sort of a weird optimization here where Force Red's going to have a lot more money than he needs just because his set is so small. And obviously you need as much inventory space as possible so you can make as few trips to your house as you possibly can. So he's going to have to go ahead and just leave all his money on the ground, just bags and bags and bags of it. But in this game, no one ever goes and picks it up, so that's kind of nice. In later games, there's a lost and found that your stuff will end up in eventually.
Thank you very much, Peppercat24, for the $30 donation. Having put way too much time into the Animal Crossing series, I'm excited for this run. Have fun and rake in donations. Thank you very much, Anonymous, for the $50 donation. Donating again purely because the idea of an Animal Crossing speedrun has blown my mind.
Yeah, that's sort of the most common question I would say in any Animal Crossing speedrun chat is, you can speedrun this game? And the answer
How
is,
do you speedrun Animal Crossing?
yeah, or that, yeah. It's weird, but it works out. I'd say inventing categories was probably the hardest part, but this one definitely makes the most sense.
There's actually a 100% category that a few people have been working on.
Yeah, myself, Adrian, Fash, and a few other people are all working on it. Fash actually said last night on Twitter, if Animal Crossing is donated for and met before the Ninja Gaiden Relay Race, he would route 100%. And like I said, it was met in 3.5 hours, so that route will be coming out soon.
Thank you very much, Mute Kai, for the $50 donation. I'm so glad that I learned touch typing in middle school so I could write this while blindfolded. Put this towards OOT blindfolded now that Yoshi's Island blindfolded has been met. It literally did as I was setting up this donation. Go figure.
But yeah, Animal Crossing 100% would be quite the run because, like I said, there are tons of items in this game, tons of fish, tons of bugs. It's just a lot of stuff to do. I think our estimate right now is probably around 80 hours. So it would be done, obviously in shifts, probably, 12-hour shifts.
I don't think it would take that long.
You don't think so? What do you think it would take around?
I think it would take less than 24 hours.
Really?
At least,
That'd be
yeah.
interesting. I don't know. We definitely want to give it a shot sometime, but like I said, there's no real route going on right now, so it's all sort of up in the air. This movement is really weird. It's sort of hard to optimize exactly what way to move the tape decks in order to get yourself where you want to be, because you can kind of box yourself out pretty easily. Everyone kind of has their own way of moving them around. But the reason they were also misplaced is because, as you pay off your debt, your house gets bigger and bigger, and so you had to adjust to your new floor size. As far as other runners of this game go, it was myself for quite a while, actually. Force Red came along and pretty much destroyed my time pretty quickly. We have a few other people in the community. Amba Harmony had the record for a little while. And yeah, we have, I don't know, probably 10 or 11 runners.
It's gotten a lot more popular recently.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, Daisy Ein, for the $25 donation. Hooray for Animal Crossing.
If you ever want to pick up this game, actually, I made a tutorial quite a while ago, and Force Stride actually just made a brand new tutorial that'll walk you through it. It's not too difficult of a run, but there's a lot to sort of figure out what's the most optimal, and since we've already done it for you, you might as well not do the work. You can find that on his YouTube.
Actually, if you go to speedrun.com/AC, we have guides and leaderboards there for this game, as well as all the other Animal Crossing games.
Thank you very much, Anonymous, for the $10 donation. Hi, AGDQ from France. $10 for the horrendous French voice track in Vanquish. Praise the ridiculous voice acting.
So now he's just going to go ahead and pick up that money that was left untouched for about a month and take that with him to donate, or not donate, deposit.
Yeah, sadly, we can't donate all the money we make in this.
Yeah. Alright, so there's that debt all paid off.
So we only have one more to go after this?
Right, yeah. Again, he's going to go ahead and put the money back up there just to save some inventory space. But yeah, you can kind of see why it's so important to have such an optimal town layout, because the trips between the post office and Tom Nook happen pretty frequently throughout the run. And so if they're apart, you're going to be losing minutes. There's a flame umbrella on sale, just saying. Alright, so Tom Nook's going to slap us with the last debt here. comes out to be, I think, 798,000. Now we're just gonna go ahead and save and quit one last time.
So this upcoming segment will be a bit different than the previous ones. We have to get 3 sets of 15 autumn medals and then 1 set of 9.
Yeah, the routing was really interesting for a while. We had like big spreadsheets going on where Fash was doing all the math to try and figure out like the most optimal way to do the last day, just because like there's so many different ways you could do it. But just because like item bags take up inventory space, and you have to figure out like exactly how many you should take at what time. But this route's pretty functional. I think it's probably the most optimal we can get. All right, so I think timeline-wise, we are now just after AGDQ 2016. The nicest part about speedrunning in this game, I would say, is probably just the atmosphere is so chill that you, it's just like nice music and nice villagers all over the place. This is a little optimization called the Yashichi sweep, because I was doing this game one day in my chat and I kept going in the basement over and over again, and a guy, Yashi, in my chat, who's never even played this game, goes, "Wouldn't it be faster to just run upstairs and grab those?" And I was like, oh god, you're right. So I was so embarrassed I named the trick after him.
We currently have a bid war going on between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Arkham Asylum sitting at $2,437.76, and Arkham City sitting at $2,289.50. I'll repeat my preference that Arkham City is the sexy one that you should pick, but yeah, either way, I'd like it if you guys could donate and give the whichever game you prefer some love.
Alright, so Nick's gonna ask us the last time how much we like our house and how hard we worked to pay it off. Alright.
So after this run, if we have a bit of time, only like 3 minutes, we are going to show off the wrong warp glitch to the beta map in this game.
Right, honestly, one of the most freak coincidences I can even imagine. For some reason in this game, if you load 2 very specific like events at the same time, it kind of freaks out, and some pretty interesting things will happen. So one day I was doing an all deaths run, and the clock struck 3 on the fair, which means like a text box pops up and says like, "Hey, we're switching to the ball toss," or whatever game they're playing at the fair. And at the same time, I paid off a debt. And I guess you'll see what happens. I don't really want to spoil it, but there's a video of me freaking out somewhere out there. But what's interesting about it is, depending on where you first come out of, like what building you last entered, it'll sort of warp you to a different place. And for me, it just warped me outside of Tom Nook's, but you can actually warp to the beta map of the game, like where they tested all this stuff, and there's a bunch of weird little things down there. So hopefully we can get to explore that a bit. I'll have to put the disc back in, obviously, because we have to reset the game. Again, just to save inventory space, you'll drop bags a few times on the last day. I think this is the biggest lump sum you'll donate. It's something like 460,000 bells. Or deposit, I said donate again. You got AGDQ on the brain?
Well, the name of the town is AGDQ 2015.
That's true.
Alright, so now we have to get another set of 15 and then 9.
Thank you very much, Ashley Cully, for the $100 donation. Congratulations on another fantastic marathon. been watching them since AGDQ in 2010, and they're always a high point in the calendar. Sadly, I'm going to miss the end of the live stream as I'm going into hospital tomorrow for a liver procedure. Fortunately, it doesn't appear to be cancer, though it's been an incredibly stressful time with tests, investigations, and waiting for results, while doctors have tried to diagnose the problem. Cancer has, however, greatly affected many friends and family members over the years, some of whom are sadly no longer with us after losing their fight. Tonight's Ninja Gaiden Relay was definitely a high point of the marathon, so I'm glad I was able to catch it, and I always loved the runs of the Punch-Out games. I missed the classic Castlevania block earlier, but was able to catch Soten, another game I love seeing run. This donation is going towards the FF7 Squats minigame. Loved it when Carcinogen did it a couple of years back. Pump it up. Good luck with the rest of the marathon. Ashley. P.S. Would love to see more Sega Saturn runs in the future marathons. There were some great games for that system, and it sadly seems to be underrepresented at the events.
Yeah, this is sort of where the interesting routing came in, because we always used to just go ahead and deposit all these bells from this last set and then go get 9, but you actually have enough space in your inventory to just pick them up, just because the money bags don't fill up quite as much space.
Thank you very much, Anonymous, for the $50 donation. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you very much, Lady Levius, for the $5 donation. Would someone please pull up the weeds?
Yeah, that was sort of the built-in punishment, because I think they kind of knew that people were going to be jumping around a lot, so they built in a system to just make your town look like absolute trash if you're jumping around all the time. The clock actually only goes to 2030 in this game, so if we're still running this game in 2031, we're going to have some problems. All right, so this will be the last set. Alright, we're coming up on time here in just a little bit. It's going to be when the villager comes out excited and pumps his fist. As soon as he pumps it up, you can hit the timer. I forgot how far away your post office.
Stage security on time.
Yeah, as you can see, the routing works out pretty well. We end up with just 1,400 left over.
Time.
You beat my PB by 3 seconds.
Huh?
You beat my PB by 3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
All right. So do we have a bit of time to show off the wrong warp?
It only takes
Probably
like
three or 4 minutes. Okay, cool. I'm going to put the disc back in the GameCube real quick. You have the date set already?
Huh, no, I probably have to set it.
Okay. So he has a pre-existing save file on this memory card that already has the debt paid off, or he has enough bells to pay off the debt, the first one. And so he's going to go ahead and set the time to 1 minute before the event I was talking about earlier goes off.
Alright, so I'm gonna have to listen to the TV pretty closely coming up here. Could you turn the game sound up just a bit? Just gotta wait here until it changes.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear the clock go off. All right, so right there, the clock is just about to go off, so it's going to start try and start the text box. But since he opened the door, it sort of canceled the text box and it couldn't pop up quite yet. So he's going to go ahead and pay off his debt, which means when he comes out, he's going to try and do the dance, but it's also going to say that the spring fair is starting at the same time. So you'll sort of see his villager freak out a little bit and glitch on the floor, and then he's going to open a door and warp down to this lighthouse here.
So yeah, this is the beta map.
So yeah,
one of the beta maps in the game.
We wrong warped some huge amount of coordinates down to the bottom of the map where this beta map exists.
These are all pitfalls in here. Don't want to go in there.
So you can just sort of see some remnants of them testing some stuff out. Here's some trees. I think there's some sample villagers around here somewhere.
Yeah, they're up here.
Showing off all
So
the
we have a
flowers.
weird gyroid here.
Yeah, doesn't say a word. These villagers all have really weird names, but they work pretty well. Just sort of testing various things.
Steal the...
Yeah, just some sample festivity kind of things. And this guy works pretty much as normal. All right. I think that's all there is down here, right?
There's a lighthouse up there.
All right. All right. So there you go. That's Animal Crossing.